This video will explain muscle contraction, relaxation, and rigor mortis in a muscle unit represented or known as the sarcomere, represented with this area right here. And in our sarcomere, these blue balls represent actin molecules. This pink head over here and this little band represents the myosin head, and then this rubber band will represent ATP, which binds the myosin head away from the actin, and this red ball will represent ADP for when the ATP breaks off, and these white balls troponin, this white band tropomyosin, and these pink balls over here in the sarcoplasmic reticulum will represent calcium ions. So muscle contraction begins with a nerve impulse traveling down a neuron and reaching the neuromuscular junction between the muscle and the muscle cell. This will cause calcium to be released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum when acetylcholine neurotransmitter is released in that neuromuscular junction. This calcium ion will connect to the troponin molecules, which keeps the tropomyosin band away from keeps the actin head back, and then when it binds to this troponin, it will move the tropomyosin away and move the actin head into a position where a cross bridge can form between the myosin head and the actin head. And when it moves into position, ATP will break off, releasing the myosin head, which will form a cross bridge and shorten the muscle. This is muscle contraction, and when this occurs, muscle is contracted. And when relaxation occurs, the ADP will rebind into ATP once the calcium has run out and the tropomyosin comes back in front of the actin head, and the molecule will bind back. What rigor mortis occurs shortly after death is when the contraction is uncontrolled, because the sarcoplasmic reticulum becomes much more permeable to calcium and will overload the troponin molecules and keep the actin head into a permanent position to be shortened. And there's no pump working to remove the calcium, so the muscle will just stay in a state of contraction. Eventually, what will eventually occur is that the ATP or the ADP will run out, and the calcium won't matter, and the muscle decays, and calcium will eventually just leave the cell, and it goes back to not being contracted. This is why rigor mortis leaves after a couple days.